Okay, so just to add to a little bit of context about what was said about we being bitter or angry or hating the NDC. Listen, obviously, this is something that would be said by, young kids. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times you guys speak of things that you know nothing of. And you speak about people and you do not understand the relationships that these people may have. So when you see me, let's say, speaking directly or being a straight shooter with Peter in a political situation, I have the right to do that. He knows that. I know that. So don't get involved in people's situation. And how can we be bitter and angry against a government that represents Grenada? If we have some sense of patriotism, if we have some sense of nationalism, why would we be bitter or angry against the current government of, not government of themselves, government of Grenada? So to actually imply that that is the case, to actually misrepresent our holding them to account as some sort of bitterness and anger or having something personal against the individuals who are part of the administration is total BS. It's quite obvious you guys might have just started some sort of association with these people, but you don't know the connection that I may have with these people. How could I be bitter or angry with these people individually? I honestly believe it's obvious that what is being done by myself and probably others is very effective. And I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to rile up emotionally your peeps, or members of the NDC or followers of the NDC and try to create some sort of cultic unity among yourselves. I understand. I understand the motivation for saying things and, trying to play with their emotions to rile them up, to sort of turn them against us. So that way they kind of shut down when we're saying things that make a lot of sense. I think it's an attempt to trivialize what we're doing when it's not trivial at all. It's actually something that is needed, that no matter what you say, it will be wrong and we will continue to do it. And obviously, it's becoming more and more effective. But let me go in a little different direction to show you where your premise of some sort of bitterness towards the NDC or the government is totally, absolutely a misrepresentation. And it's not cute to say something like that. So let me give you a little background. For example, there's a certain gentleman, he's part of the administration currently. Now that gentleman's aunt, used to leave the care of her property, of her home, in my hands when she would go on summer vacations every summer. That is the level of connection and trust this splendid woman, very splendid woman, and I had. Now, the gentleman might not even know that. The gentleman's father might have to tell him that. You see what I'm saying? The very gentleman's father and I, when I was holding down Panache nightclub in Lansapine, some of you guys might not even know about it. The gentleman's father and I used to be driving home together in the same car and all talking on the way home. You guys wouldn't know that. So how is it possible that we will have some sort of anger or bitterness or resentment towards people who we have that sort of connection with? Now, one of the other gentlemen who's part of the administration, this gentleman and I sat in school benches together. Okay, of course I'm talking about, the more grown ones. And this gentleman and I has always been cordial and loving in our interaction. So is this someone you think that we're going to have some sort of personal thing against? So don't try to misrepresent what is being done here. Now, also, a couple of friends of mine, they might have looked at the Ride Along show also, and, they might have looked at the comments and stuff like that. And they obviously know that it is a pro-NDC crowd. So, a day or so after the show, they called me and they all were breaking out in laughter. I mean, just, fall on the floor kind of laughter because of some of the comments. And I generally don't do comments and stuff like that because I usually, I know it's like the bottom of the barrel things that sometimes people would say. So I don't get involved in that. You know what I'm saying? I don't care for it too much. But they were they were cracking up. And it's like, boy, these people really don't know who you are. Then some of them was saying, boy, I warned you, man. I told you about these people. I told you about these Grenadian people. They're going to attack you. I said, don't worry about that. That's neither here nor there. I've been attacking them and I'm pretty good at counterattacking. You know what I'm saying? And then I know half of the things that probably would have been said in a comment. I really doubt, highly doubt that it would be said, on a face-to-face basis. So we understand the internet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even worried about that. But one thing it did, based on what they were telling me, one thing it did, and after seeing such a great response on the Ride Along show, it's obvious that, whoa, I really pulled out some emotions in these people. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. That at least we're having conversation. We're talking about stuff. But what it also did, it sort of hardened my resolve. And if anybody knows about me, they'll know the kind of resolve that I have and the kind of spirit that I have. So it actually did that. And it made me actually want to do this some more. You see what I'm saying? So if the effect was, or if you wanted to sort of deter me from doing this, well, guess what? You actually made a mistake. You actually made a mistake because it's going to have the opposite effect. And a fellow Carnage Cooper Hill gentleman, Jason Skeet, I saw he had a Facebook post or something like that. Somebody might have been saying some sort of nonsense and he had to address it. And one thing he said, I don't really get into academic stuff and, there's no need to, because you have to have love for people before you even talk about that, and you have to express that love. And he's absolutely right, but remember, we are grown people. So we would have had certain skills and experience that we would have acquired over the years that puts us in a position to make certain judgments or to assess certain situations and call things out. You guys probably don't know us too much, you know what I'm saying? But at 15, we left high school. At 17, we went back to teach at the very high school that we left. And in another year or so, went to work in one of the biggest banks in Grenada at the time. So the point is, and what we're trying to say is that all of this is said to illustrate that just maybe, that we may have some sort of judgment on certain situations that might be productive. So when you guys see certain people saying certain things and you have no clue who they are, do not get caught up in the middle of what is being said. Okay? Do not misrepresent or misunderstand holding people accountable for being personal with them or being bitter towards them. It's total nonsense. Then I saw some of you guys trying to label me as some white man and some foreign agent and all kind of bullshit. It's ludicrous. You know what I'm saying? Totally ludicrous. Because many of the very neighborhoods that you guys grew up in or are living in, we lived in them. Okay? There are currently people throughout every aspect of the society that I have personal relationships with. Okay? And there are many who are acquaintances, and there are many who are friends by extension. So, of course, some of us grew up around tough guys, and we grew up around real men, and we were real men ourselves, and still are real men to this day. So a lot of the times, don't let the pretty boy face and the glasses and those sort of things fool you. Because we grew up in all the environments that you guys grew up in, or probably are currently living in. I grew up in Cherry Hill. I grew up on Carnage Green Street. I grew up in Belmont. Okay? My mother and grandfather is from Montreal. But you guys wouldn't know that. I've spent extensive time in Labby. Okay? And in some respects, even though we may have traveled, we might be more children and sons and daughters of the soil more than some of you that live there. So the overriding point is this, that I have friends, personal friends. I have family members who are on both sides of the aisle. I have family members who are intense NDCites. Okay? And I have other family members who are intense NNPites. So to have healthy discourse is not a bad thing. You guys are not going to know about my brothers who almost sacrificed their life for their country. You guys are not going to know about that. How are you going to know about it? Some of your kids. But what is easy to do is to try to be disrespectful or dishonorable sometimes when you really don't know the people that you're dealing with. And all of it is done all in the name of politics. And that's what I'm saying to you guys. You set yourselves up. You make yourselves look foolish because you don't understand the relationships that I personally may have with sometimes the very people that I'm going to give flack. So when big people talking, when grown people talking, just sometimes you little kids have to stay out of it. And you know, the youngins I can forgive. You know, I've been a youth myself. I think I'm still a youth. So I understand the mentality. You know what I'm saying? They will grow, they will learn. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very forgiving to them. You know what I'm saying? But grown people who I think should know better, set an example. You know, these are the ones that I'm a little less forgiven to. Look at Mr. Larry Barry. Okay? Look at Mr. Larry Barry, another son of Green Street. Okay? Do you guys think you would know the relationship between me and these people? No, you won't. Even if years may have passed and I see these people today, it would seem like no time has passed. You think there'll be anything personal between me and them? No, absolutely not. But at the same time, again, that does not mean that I would not hold accountable an administration to which they belong. It's not personal. So as I said, I may have more links and relationships in so many different parts of Grenada. My grandmother is from Marigot, and I like to say Marigot, as the French say. Okay? And she was a transplant to Cherry Hill. How about that? So there you have another place in Grenada where I have roots. I have roots. My cousins are from the Limes. How about that? But here you are, you little confused kids will try to make this seem like this is some sort of something personal. It's nothing personal. But you know what is pretty interesting? You guys celebrated. You guys were pretty happy when I was giving Peter David a little bit of flack, huh? You guys loved that, huh? But all of a sudden, I kind of pivoted and started to, you know, shine the light on you guys. And all of a sudden, I become public enemy number one, huh? Ain't that interesting? Well, I see, for example, some of you are exceedingly tight about the fact that Junior might have invited me on his show to add some sort of perspective to the show in terms of, you know, a different perspective. And you guys are all pissed off. Oh, why did he have him up on there? Oh, he's an NNP agent. But again, it has to be kids saying that because you guys may not know the relationship that Junior and I have. This is decades cultivated relationship, okay? You guys wouldn't know how much party and how much interaction the me and the gentleman would have had in New York. But then you're like, oh, how you could just bring... What do you think? You think Junior just knew me yesterday? You think all of a sudden he just knew me yesterday? Then I saw like someone call in, again, probably another young cat, call in and said, oh, he's angry with the NDC and he has no sense of morality because at least the NDC paid a pension. And I couldn't help, I had to help myself actually from not bursting out into laughter on the show. And oh, he's probably just looking for relevance. And I did respond to the young lady. And as I said to her, Carnage man and Green Street man and Labby man don't need relevance. Okay? We were born with relevance. You know what I'm saying? And I have so much relevance in my current life and what I'm doing. I don't need extra relevance. As a matter of fact, I probably could give away a bit of relevance right now. You know? So sometimes we got to be careful and don't be presumptuous about people that you see. I mean, again, what's this going to do for me? what this is going to add to my life. Okay? What is this going to exceedingly add to my life that I don't have in my life right now? It's obviously something that is being done out of love of country. And as I said in one of my previous videos, if someone, get this, take a stock of your life, look at your lives and look at the people that pay you the most attention. These are the people that actually love you. If you have a friend that doesn't pay you any attention, doesn't say, hey, yo, what's up, man? Let's go drink a beer or something. Okay? That friend doesn't care about you. If you got a girlfriend, she'll say, oh, let's go hang out, let's go to a little party, let's spaz a little. Then guess what? She doesn't love you. Right? So the fact that we, who are relatively comfortable in our own skin and our own lives, would pay attention to our, homeland, guess what? It's because we care. It's because we have love. That is why we're paying attention. Okay? Because there's no exceeding benefit except the fact that we would like to see things improve and the country progress. That's the only benefit we would get from it. We're not looking, personally me, I'm not looking for living, as we would say. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I'm not singing for my supper. So this is a sort of big man thing. You know what I'm saying? See it for what it is. It's big man thing. Grown people thing. You know what I'm saying? And we still have, even though we're grown, we still have the spirit of youthfulness in us. So don't get it twisted. So that is why you would see, for example, Cam Jones would say, when I gave him a little flack, he would turn around and say, oh, my guy and I I came to New York, we were hanging out, and we sat at the same dinner table and stuff like that. Because that is grown man stuff. That we could do all of that. And of course, he said how good we treated him when he came here. That's how we treat all peoples, regardless. But yet still, we could give him a little flack when we think that he might have said something out of line. And if you notice how much character the gentleman has in him, but nobody have seemed to brought it out, the gentleman pivoted in many respects in some of the things he was saying. You understand? The gentleman showed character and pivoted in some of the things he was saying. You see what I'm saying? And that is exactly what it's all about. So the people who would like to see us continue in a climate of divisiveness and anger and bitterness, the only people that are benefiting from that, is politicians. Okay? It's people who are not genuine. Because if they are genuine, they would have and they would encourage healthy competition among their people.